Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to kick off our presentation with a really intriguing topic, getting better at picking lovers. On this first slide, you'll see the title that sets the stage for what we'll explore. We'll be talking about how to make smarter choices when it comes to love and relationships. Throughout this session, I'll share some insights and tips to help you understand what to look for and how to build healthier connections. So, let's dive in and start this journey toward better love choices together. For much of our romantic lives, it can sometimes feel like we're just unlucky in love. Like no matter what we do, things don't quite seem to work out the way we hope. We might experience one relationship ending because of betrayal, which can leave us feeling hurt and distrustful. Then, in another, we might face emotional coldness, where the connection just seems distant or unresponsive. And in yet another, we might find ourselves caught in a cycle of tender yet inconsistent affection, something that feels both comforting and confusing at the same time. These experiences highlight a common pattern. Despite our efforts, love can often feel unpredictable and challenging. This slide sets the stage for understanding why that might be and how we can begin to navigate these ups and downs more consciously. The key idea here is that these varied experiences, while painful, are part of a larger story about how we relate to love and ourselves. So, as we move forward, we'll explore what might be behind these patterns and how we can work toward more fulfilling connections. Many of us tend to move from one heartbreak to another, feeling like fate is just against us. It's easy to believe that these patterns are random, that life is simply throwing obstacles our way. But sometimes, especially when we get guidance from a wise friend or a therapist, we start to see a different picture. We realize that maybe it's not just bad luck, but something deeper. The sobering truth is that the real problem might actually lie within us, specifically in the unconscious patterns we keep repeating. And understanding these patterns is key to breaking free from this cycle. It's a crucial step in our overall journey of self-awareness and growth. Let's delve into the hidden pattern beneath our romantic choices. Despite what we might tell ourselves, we often find ourselves drawn to lovers who can't truly love us back. This isn't just luck or coincidence. It's part of an ancient emotional script that was written long ago, deep in the corridors of our childhood. For many of us, early life love was not consistent, safe, or unconditional. We might have grown up around parents who were distracted, demanding, or emotionally unavailable. And because of that, before we even understood what love really was, we learned something more primitive: how to survive around someone who should have loved us but didn't. Children are remarkably adaptable. They develop the ability to reconfigure their understanding of neglect. They minimize their own needs, reinterpret rejection as normal, and even convince themselves that it's their fault that love is absent. Over time, this coping mechanism becomes so ingrained that it leads to emotional blindness. And this is crucial, because as adults, we often don't realize that our idea of love has been quietly built around deprivation. We carry these early patterns into our adult relationships, often unconsciously seeking out what feels familiar, even if it's painful or unfulfilling. This pattern explains a lot about why love can sometimes feel like a cycle of longing and loss, rooted in those childhood experiences. Let's talk about the concept of repetition compulsion and why we often find ourselves choosing the wrong people again and again. As adults, this tendency to repeat patterns stems from our early emotional experiences. We unconsciously seek out partners who mirror that first emotional landscape. Maybe they seem distant, critical, or inconsistent, because, deep down, that feels familiar and safe, even if it's painful. What's really interesting is how we often confuse certain feelings. We might mistake anxiety for passion, inconsistency for depth, or emotional unavailability for some kind of alluring mystery. These misunderstandings keep us trapped in cycles that feel familiar but aren't healthy. Now, a key point to remember is that what we often call chemistry isn't always about love. Sometimes, that intense attraction is actually hiding a wound, a familiar emotional struggle that we've known since childhood. We're not necessarily drawn to love itself, but rather to the emotional chaos that reminds us of our early experiences. And here's the ironic part. Many of us feel most alive when we're in these chaotic relationships that echo childhood struggles. It's as if the emotional turbulence gives us a sense of vitality, even though it's ultimately destructive. Recognizing this pattern is crucial for understanding why we keep repeating these cycles and how we might begin to break free from them. So on this slide, we're focusing on asking the right questions. To really grow beyond our usual patterns, we need to start questioning our own instincts. For example, after a few promising dates, instead of just asking ourselves if this person excites us, we should consider whether they have the psychological qualities necessary for a stable, kind, and emotionally mature relationship. It's important to reflect on certain questions that can guide us. These questions help us look beneath surface-level attraction and really evaluate compatibility on a deeper level. By doing this, we're not just chasing excitement, we're making more conscious, healthier choices about who we pursue. This ties into our overall theme of developing better relationship habits. Asking the right questions is about shifting our focus from superficial qualities to the core traits that foster long-term connection. So, next time you're dating, consider not just how they make you feel in the moment, but whether they have the emotional maturity and stability that truly support a lasting relationship. Let's consider whether this person can truly be my equal, or if I find myself slipping back into the caretaker, the teacher, or even the emotional parent role. It's important to ask myself if they are capable of nurturing me as I nurture them, because healthy relationships are built on mutual care, not one-sided giving. Think about the future. 2 years from now, 5, 10. Will this connection deepen genuinely, or might it quietly collapse under the weight of immaturity or avoidance? These questions help us gauge the potential longevity and health of the relationship. Beneath their charm or melancholy is there real wisdom, empathy, and a sense of emotional responsibility. Because true connection requires more than surface-level traits, it demands maturity and genuine understanding. Can they stop performing or hiding behind the wounded child they might be projecting? Can they meet me as an adult, ready to build something real and lasting? These questions might seem unromantic, but I believe they're actually the truest expressions of love. Because love isn't just about passion or fantasy, it's about extending that love inward, to ourselves first, and then outward into our relationships. When we talk about the art of emotional listening, it's really about developing a kind of discernment. Now, this is not cynicism, it's actually emotional intelligence. It's about cultivating a sensitivity. Think of it as having ears as sharp as a rabbit's that can pick up on subtle cues early on. These cues might indicate withholding, immaturity, manipulation, or even self-absorption. Recognizing these signs early is crucial because it helps us understand what's really happening beneath the surface. In the past, we might have mistaken emotional unavailability for intrigue, thinking, well, they're just mysterious, or they're complex. But now we see it differently. We recognize that emotional unavailability is actually a danger sign. Similarly, when someone seems inconsistent and we label them as complex, it might have been a way to justify their unpredictability. But today, we understand that inconsistency often signals a lack of readiness to truly love. All of this ties back to the overall theme of emotional awareness. Developing this kind of listening isn't just about understanding others. It's about protecting ourselves and fostering healthier relationships by paying attention to the emotional signals that often go unnoticed. It's really about sharpening our emotional perception so that we can respond thoughtfully and compassionately. Choosing love over torment is a powerful step in our healing journey. As we grow, our understanding of love shifts. We start to realize that what once felt exciting, ecstatic torment, fascination with indifference, or bittersweet abandonment was actually a reflection of our wounds. Instead, we come to desire and respect calm affection, steady care, emotional maturity, and mutual presence. Learning to choose better lovers isn't about being perfect or making flawless judgments. It's really about respecting ourselves enough to recognize what healthy love looks like. It's about no longer confusing emotional pain or tumult with proof of love. Instead, it's aligning our romantic choices with the healed, whole versions of ourselves, not the wounded ones we used to be. The next time someone enters our life, it's helpful to ask ourselves not how much do I desire them, but how safe, seen, and alive do I feel around them? That's a more truthful measure of connection. Ultimately, becoming better at love isn't about finding the perfect partner. It's about becoming the kind of person who can recognize and truly appreciate the right partner when they come along. It's about transforming ourselves first, so love can truly flourish.